All right, let's get right into it. We're not here for feel-good fluff. This whole explainer has one very direct, maybe even a little confrontational purpose: to hit you with a message that you probably really need to hear. There it is. Just let that sit there for a second. Seriously, this isn't meant to beat you down, it's meant to be a wake-up call. Because as we're about to see, this single, simple sentence might just be the most important truth for so many of us. So let's start by ripping off the Band-Aid and looking this uncomfortable truth right in the eye. What does it actually look like to waste your potential, day in and day out? Well, the core idea is that most of us, we're only running at about 10% of what we're truly capable of. Just think about that, 10%. That means there's a staggering 90% of what you could be, what you could create, what you could achieve, just sitting there, collecting dust, slowly fading away. And this is what it feels like in the real world, right? You've been there. You get this huge burst of motivation. Maybe you're scrolling and watch one of those winter arc videos. You feel totally fired up. You're like, this is it. This is the moment everything changes. And then what happens? A week later, you're right back on the couch, exactly where you started. It's this vicious cycle of inaction that we tell ourselves is progress. So why? Why does that cycle keep happening? Why do we stay stuck in that loop? Well, that brings us to the root cause, this prison we build around ourselves, brick by brick, one excuse at a time. And let's be crystal clear about something. This has nothing to do with how talented you are or how smart you are, or if you have the right opportunities. The one thing, the real thing holding you back, the foundation of that entire prison, it's just fear, that invisible force that dictates everything you don't do. And look at what these fears are. They're not some abstract concept. They're the ones we all know intimately. The fear of what other people might think, the fear that you're just not gonna measure up. These are the deep core anxieties that completely paralyze us before we even think about taking that first step. And this is how those fears actually talk to you. They turn into these little lies, these excuses we whisper to ourselves every day. Each one on its own seems so harmless, right? But you add them all up, and they build the walls of that prison, keeping you safe and totally stagnant in your comfort zone. But staying in that prison, staying in that comfort zone, it comes with a ridiculously high price. And we're not just talking about missed promotions or opportunities, we're talking about the crushing weight of time and eventually regret. So let me ask you this. What if you're already failing? We're so terrified of some big dramatic flameout that we totally miss the fact that we're failing in a much quieter way every single day. See, failure isn't always one big event. It's a slow burn. It's the gradual erosion of the person you could have become. It happens one missed workout, one excuse, one I'll do it tomorrow at a time. It's a quiet death. I mean, think about this for a second. The pandemic in 2020. For a lot of us, it feels like it was just yesterday. But guess what? That's nearly half a decade. Gone. Poof, just vanished. That's how fast the years fly by while the days feel so slow. So the real question is, 5 years from now, are you going to be in a new place? Or are you going to be repeating the exact same excuses? And this is the nightmare scenario. This is the end result of that quiet, daily failure. It's this gut-wrenching picture of future regret. You won't be mourning the things you tried and failed at. You'll be mourning all the chances you were too scared to even take. That's the feeling that will haunt you. Okay, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's the dark path. Let's flip the script. Let's stop talking about the person you're afraid of failing to be and start talking about the person you could become. Just look at this contrast. It's so stark. On one side, you've got the person who lets fear win. They blend in. They're forgettable. On the other side, the person who steps up. They're disciplined. They move with purpose. And look, this isn't some superhero. This is the version of you that is just waiting to be unleashed. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Your potential, it's not going to just show up at your front door one day. It's not passive. It requires a conscious, active, and, let's be honest, often really difficult pursuit. You have to go out and chase that better version of yourself down. So how do you even start? How do you break out of that prison of excuses and actually begin the chase? Let's get into the final and most important part, what you can actually do. Okay, First things first, we have to kill the number one excuse right now. The idea that it's too late, that you've wasted too much time. Let me ask you, are you still breathing? Yeah? Okay, then it's not too late. The past is done. The window of opportunity is right now. Now, the strategy to beat this is actually incredibly simple, but it is profound. Step 1, you have to accept that the fear is never going to totally disappear. It just won't. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of it. You take the step while you're still scared. That is the only way you build momentum. So let's end on this powerful idea. The gap between who you are right now and who you're capable of becoming, it's real. And every single day, you're making a choice. Are you going to widen that gap with another excuse, or are you going to start closing it with one small action? So let's boil this all down to one final question for you. Not about next week, not about next year, right now. If you could just magically silence that fear for a moment, what is the one single thing you would do today to start closing that gap? Your answer to that, well, that's your first step.